guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be testing out some new makeup, including the new Mar palette from Colourpop. I got a blush and a bronzer from them as well. So we're going to be testing out some new makeup. Let's go ahead and get started. First I'm going to be going in with the Smashbox Primerizer. I'm going to be going in with the Colourpop No Filter Foundation in the shade Fair 30. I like this foundation okay. It's a little bit dry for me, but overall it works really well and it's really affordable. So I'm just going to kind of dot this around my face. And I'm using the sponge from Flower Beauty. If you want an affordable alternative to the Beauty Blender, this one's really good. The only thing I don't love about it is the shape of the top. It's not quite as pointed as the Beauty Blender, so whenever you're going to blend out your under eye, it is a little bit more difficult just because of that. Next I'm going to go in with the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in the shade Fair Neutral. None of these three that so far have been new products. I have used all of them before, but I have some new Colourpop things. I also have two Juvia's Place palettes that I just got, but I think I'm going to save those for another tutorial. To set my under eyes, I'm going to go in with a different powder than on my face. On the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Colourpop No Filter Setting Powder, but I find that it darkens my under eye concealer quite significantly if I use it under my eyes. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go instead with the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. I'm going to go in with the flat side of the sponge to set under my eyes. For the rest of the face, I'm going to take the Colourpop No Filter Setting Powder. So first I'm going in with the Colourpop and Dream Street palette. I'm going to go in with this shade right here called Magical, because the Mar palette doesn't really have a good blending shade or very much of a transition shade. This is the closest thing they have to a transition shade, and for me that's not that good of a transition shade on my fair skin. If you have a deeper skin tone than me, you may be able to just go in straight with that color. I'm just blending this kind of into the crease and on the outer corner of my eye. I'm going to go in with a smaller blending brush. This is a Morphe M411. And now I'm going to go in with this transition shade here called Sorbet, I think. Sorbet. And I'm going to build this up just slightly underneath where I put that last transition shade. Next I'm going to go in with this smaller blending brush. This one's a Morphe M514. I'm going to go in with this shade right here called Detour. I'm going to tap a lot of it off because I want to avoid as much fallout as possible. I'm just really building this up on the outer corner. I'm pressing it onto the eye rather than sweeping it onto the eye, so I want to avoid fallout. Also taking this further in on the crease, just to give my crease a little bit more dimension. Blue shades can be pretty hard to work with, so definitely take your time building up the color. Next I'm going to go in with my finger and just take this shade. I'm going to place that kind of on the center of my lid. The shade is really pretty. Gives me very much mermaid vibes. And then I'm going to go back in with that blending brush and just blend where those two colors meet. Next I'm going to go in with this shade right here called Highway, I think. I'm also going to take that on just a flat shader brush. This one's from Colourpop. I don't think they carry this particular one anymore, but just any flat shader brush would work. I'm going to wet my brush with this one since I'm not applying it with my finger. I'm just using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I'm going to go in with this on the inner corner of my eye. And where those two shades meet kind of in the center, I'm just going to kind of tap over that to blend those two together. And again, just going in with this blending brush, just really lightly blending the edges of that. Okay, under the eyes, I'm going to go in with the shade Sorbet again, and a smaller blending brush. This one's the Morphe M507. I'm just going to kind of blend this out pretty far underneath my eye. Next I'm going to go in with this dark brown shade. Also going to blend this under the eyes. And then this one I'm also going to take into this outer corner here, just to add a little bit of dimension on that outer corner. Next I'm going to go in with this shade called Boozy on just like a little dense kind of smudger brush. I'm going to wet my brush for this one just because I want it to show up really pigmented on the inner corner of my eye. I'm going to take it kind of right here. And then I'm going to take a small, this is I think technically a concealer brush. It's an M421 and this lightest shade. I'm going to put that on the inner corner. This isn't really a highlight shade for me. It's very peachy gold, which on my fair skin shows up pretty dark. But, so if I were using this palette on like a day-to-day basis, I would probably go in with a different highlight shade. Or like my face highlight or something like that. For bronzer, I'm going to go in with this from Colourpop. This is in the shade Private Party and a Morphe M527. This is my first time trying this bronzer. It's not a bad bronzer, but I do have others that I like a little bit better. For blush, I'm going to go in with this Colourpop blush and this shade, I believe it's Hello there. I can't take it out of the packaging very easily. And then a Luxie tapered highlighting brush. I don't really like this brush for highlighting, it's a little too big, but it works really well for face products. I'm going to do my brows really quick. I'm going to use the Brow Gal Brow Gel in the shade Brown Hair 02. I got this in a BoxyCharm a couple months ago. I like it quite a lot. And then I'm going to use the Anastasia Brow Wiz in taupe. I'm going to go in with the Colourpop cream gel eyeliner in the shade Mr. Bing. I'm going to use this on the waterline, and I'm also going to tightline with it. Next, I'm going to spritz my face with the Morphe setting spray. And then while that's still a little bit wet, I'm going to go in with my highlighter. I'm going to use the Balm Mary Luminizer. This is my current favorite. For mascara, I'm going to use the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. For lashes, I'm going to go in with the Ardell Demi Wispies. I'm going to use the Duo Lash Glue. This is the dark version. Okay, so lashes are on. You could definitely do a more dramatic lash with this look. I don't generally wear false lashes, so these are what I have and that I'm comfortable in, but yeah. For lips, I'm trying to decide what I want to use. I'm going to use this lippy stick from Colourpop in the shade Psych, and I'll go in with the lippy pencil in BFF. So as for new products I tried, I like the Mar palette quite a lot. The colors in it are really nice. I wasn't really interested in the Soul palette just because it seemed like every other warm tone palette I have. This one seemed a little more unique and a little less like everything else I have in my collection. I'm excited to try some of these like bronzier tones. They're really pretty. This shade right here does swatch a little bit more dry than the other ones. I'm not particularly sure why, but just keep that in mind if you get this palette. But I thought it was more unique than some of the other palettes I have, so I like it. I think I get good use out of it. This lip pencil or lippy stick was new from Colourpop. I do like the color. I don't know if I love it with this eye look. I think it might be a little too much color with such a bold eye look, so I maybe would pair this with something else. I may actually mix in. This is Tiptoe from Colourpop. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. It made it a little more neutral. But overall, I like everything I tried today. The face powders were nice, the blush and the bronzer. The bronzer didn't blend out amazingly, but I think it's more to do with my base makeup. The more I try that Colourpop foundation, the less I like it. I think it's just a little bit too dry for me, and that's using a hydrating primer, a hydrating setting mist, and prepping my face really well. So I'm not sure what else I can try to make it work because I've used a couple different primers, a couple different setting sprays, so I'm not sure that it's the right foundation for me with my more dry skin. It does tend to look a little bit cakey, particularly today. It just looks kind of cakey, so I think that bronzer just had trouble kind of blending out on top of my skin being really dry. Other than that, I really liked everything I tried. The blush and the bronzer are nice shades. The blush blended really well. I like that it's not overpowering straight out of the pan. You are able to kind of build it up a little bit. It's not anything crazy pigmented or anything like that, which I prefer. I don't like a really pigmented blush because I think it's a little bit harder to blend out that way. This is the finished makeup look. Bye guys, see you next time.